Bruce Saunders. And I am your MC for today's festivities. Just thinking back, I remember the first time that I met Bill Fitz-Gibbon, today's guest of honor. Paul Mertens, who's co-founder of the IHP, was about to retire, and I was being interviewed for the position that he was vacating. And I went into the room, and Mr. Mertens was there, and Ms. Fennell was there, and Mr. Tash was there, and suddenly the door burst open. And in strode a lanky, tall man who had a look on his face that said, "Why am I here?" Well, he sat down, and I noticed that faraway look in his eye, even though he wasn't. His great shock of hair looked like there had been a terrible accident. And I noticed what would become a familiar Fitz fashion statement. The back of his right cuff was tucked into his sock. And someone said, "This is Bill Fitz-Gibbon, you'd be working with him." And I said to myself, "No, I think this man works alone." Well, the interview ended, and everybody got up, and there was lots of smiling and nodding and shaking of hands, and Fitz said to no one in particular, "I've been hoping we'd get a PhD." Well, they did. They got me. And for the next 8 years, I taught across the hall from Fitz. I taught history, Latin, and the beloved creative analysis. And it was right across the hall from one of the greatest teachers I have had the honor and privilege of knowing. It is my pleasure to introduce one of the finest principals in education today, Miss Sally Berkeley.
Well, that is a very tough act to follow, I must tell you. Thank you, Bruce. I do miss you. I remember it was about 13 years ago when I first joined the Walter Reed family. And I was walking down the hallway in the upper A building, and there was a young student, and he had about 6 huge textbooks in his hand, and he was hustling down the hallway looking a little disturbed, and I said, "Excuse me, son, can I help you?" He said, "I have IHP." And I thought, now, let's see. I know what SDC, and I know IEPs, and I know what HIV is, and he just looked at me with this just disgusting look, and he said, "I'm one of Fitz's boys." It took me, maybe about 3 or 4 months to figure out the power of that statement and realize what an honor it truly is to be considered one of Fitz's kids. And thanks to his leadership in the IHP program, I am now a very strong, loyal supporter of the IHP program as well. And I am, as long as I am principal at Walter Reed Middle School, I'm totally committed to this program. You all need to be comfortable in knowing that. It is my pleasure today to dedicate the science lab, which the old 150 used to be a plastic shop. We completely redone that room, and we're going to dedicate this to a science lab for Bill Fitz-Gibbon. And it has a little bit of extra special meaning to me in that it was when we went year-round, it was necessary to share rooms and move things and put things in different cabinets in place. And you all know Bill's housekeeping ability is a little on the loose side. So anyway, we had pulled together all the science equipment and neatly locked it away in one of the cabinets in room 150. And it was a nutrition time, and it was, I could see Bill coming across the campus towards me, and I'm telling you, there was smoke coming out his heels. He got up there and he approached me, and he thought I had just destroyed the science department at Walter Reed and ruined it for IHP. And you know, he was a little ill for a while, and I was like going, Bill, how am I going to explain to the world that I've given this man a massive stroke here, and I had to live to tell about it. I said, don't worry, I would never ruin your lab. So we found the equipment, I calmed him down, and the least I can do is be a part of dedicating this science lab to you today, Bill. You're very deserving. I love you. Thank you. Of the bronze plaque that we're going to have placed upon the wall.
Fitz's room 206 was directly across the hall from mine, 207. And from time to time, Fitz would lose patience with a student and tell the student to go see Mr. Schibetta, the assistant principal. But in the passion of the moment, sometimes Mr. Schibetta's name would be, well, Fitzed. I once heard, go down and see Mr. Schibella. Another time is, Mr. Perella will take care of you. And finally just, you go to Piscabella. But by whatever name, an assistant principal with style, panache, and a joy of life, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Paul Schibetta.
I want to welcome you all here. My name is Paul Schibetta, and actually I started at Walter Reed the same time that Bruce Saunders did, the same year. And actually Bruce and I were roommates on the Washington, D.C. trip for the last 3 years. He was here. Anyway, it's a pleasure. I've worked very closely with the IHP program. I know when I got here, Larry Tash, who knew he would be promoted very quickly, said to me, I want this program is important to the school, and I want you to make sure that it goes on. So I want you to be in charge of it, oversee it, make sure things go well. And so I've been very involved with it ever since then. As far as the science lab goes, a number of people have come up to me and said, what can I do, what can I contribute to make this permanent, something for Fitz, something that's special. And so what I've suggested and what I'm suggesting here, and this is not my lone decision, is that anybody who would like to can make a check out to the Walter Reed Middle School, and it will be for the science lab, because we have an actual lab that's going in. We're going to be ordering lab tables, microscopes, and it's going to become state-of-the-art. So we're very, very excited about that. It's funny you were saying, but I didn't even know that Fitz knew my name, because what happened is he would send students down. They never really arrived at, I think it took about 3 or 4 years before he realized that he wasn't getting feedback from me, so they never really got to my office. They actually were floating about the school. And I remember the day that one of the students was hanging out the window of his classroom, and he didn't realize that was going on. I just noticed from down below, so I had to go up into the classroom, and he was very immersed in some kind of a physics formula and just didn't see what was going on, which is very unlike Fitz. What an honor to have all of these friends and students come together to celebrate 32 years of a commitment of education for highly gifted children. I think of Fitz as the pioneer of highly gifted education here in Los Angeles. When Bill came to Walter Reed, along with Judy Seltzer and Paul Mertens so many years ago, Judy handled the English. Paul Mertens, who's here today, is the history professor. Where is Paul? And Fitz, being the brilliant, highly gifted math scientist that he is, was in charge of all of the science and math here at Reed for the gifted program. His education at MIT was recognized by all. One of the reasons we're called the Individualized Honors Program is because the math and sciences were actually individualized. Students who had the ability, whatever grade they were in, 7th and 8th initially, and 9th, could take AP Calculus, AP Physics. We had AP Physics. How many of you were in the AP Physics classes or are presently? Quite a shout. I remember one of the difficult things, I think it was 1996 or 94 that we went, 96 that we went to 6th, 7th, and 8th. Bill had to make a tough decision because when the 9th grade went on to North Hollywood, it also would mean that he couldn't really teach the chemistry any longer here at Reed. So he really struggled as to whether to go on to do the highly gifted program over there. But he decided his dedication to middle school allowed him to stay here. The kids now take it in high school, and he lives on with calculus and physics here at Reed, and all the other maths that are possible. If you can do statistics, you can take a statistics AP here. Any math analysis, what have you. So that's what makes our program individualized, thanks to Fitz.